Bonjour. I do know one sentence, but I was advised not to use it, so... I'm going to talk about what's next in mobile. And of course, the next thing there in mobile is the rise of brand advertising. And I'm sure we've heard things earlier in the day that I didn't understand. I did think I understood some of the slides beforehand that is touching on this subject. This was about a year ago in China, where they started painting sidewalks just so that you wouldn't bump into people. This was last week in Stockholm, Sweden. Warning signs of mobile users. And I think this is not so much a warning of mobile user as it is a warning for brand advertisers. And that's really the number one thing that we focus on. We believe that 70% of the media consumption will be mobile in 2019. Already today, the average US user spends 3 hours on their cell phone or on their smartphone. Why is this a problem? Well, it's because TV is the number one branding medium. And TV has had its 50-year run, which has been great. But if you're going to rely on TV as your branding medium, you're in trouble. Here in France, I understand the curves haven't really started to dip yet when it comes to number of viewers and the number of ads that or number of people that you reach. But in Sweden, where we were very early on with Spotify, who's killing radio now. Netflix has really taken over in Sweden, and we see a big decline on the normal TV channel. The only things that remain are live TV, because that is very difficult to replicate online. Of course, people say that, well, everybody's moving to YouTube, so you can still use YouTube as the biggest channel for branding. Well, guess what? YouTube, about a month ago, as you know, launched YouTube Red, removing the ads. So again, there are less and less opportunities to use traditional TV spots or video spots, whether they are online or on TV, for brand advertising. So we have to start preparing now of thinking about a new way of how do we do brand advertising going mobile. And of course, when I talk about brand advertising, we all know the funnel, the AIDA funnel, or there are 25 different versions of it. But you need to make some sort of awareness, create some sort of interest, desire, and then some sort of action. In order to do that, a brand advertiser needs to do 3 things. It's a little grayed out here, but basically we call them see, feel, and interact, where you have the behavioral stuff. That's when you see an ad. Like, it gets delivered to you. The cognitive, that's when you're actually, whether it's subconscious or consciously, remember the ad. And then the emotional, what did you feel about the ad? When we started mobile 8.5 years ago, we realized the whole industry of mobile advertising is all about clicks. And in 8.5 years, we have moved maybe an inch. It's still very much about clicks. Any ad planners here or any media planners here will automatically take all the stuff that they get and dump it in and see how was the CTR. The problem with that is 96% of people never click on an ad, even if they think it's relevant. These numbers are based on us delivering ads to 200 million people every month. And in a typical month, 4%, all the clicks come from 4% of the user base. And I'll get into a little bit later why clicks isn't a particularly good indicator of brand impact or brand effect. So what we decided to do, or I think, are we seeing, I think we are missing some slides there, but it's maybe something to the PowerPoint. So just short on us, we started in 2007 out of Sweden. We're 230 employees right now, and hopefully we will expand into the US in the next year or so. 100 people are on the R&D side. We have 20 data scientists that focus on one thing, and it's data-driven brand advertising. A typical thing that we give to our clients to show them something beyond the click is the typical brand metrics, as we call them. Brand awareness, consideration, purchase intent, those type of things. And how many people remember it? A/B tested, and so on. We don't even have to do surveys anymore. We can predict based on the user behavior now. And what have we learned? We've learned that it's a lot of different things. And I understand we saw brand performance here and brand safety. We talk a lot about those things. The environment is extremely important. Do you trust the content where the ad is placed? Is it next to another ad? There are lots of these different considerations. But is the ad actually in screen? Can you guarantee that it was seen by somebody? Not only a person, certainly not a robot, but was it above the fold for enough time? Those type of things. The formats, are they creative enough so that you can actually engage the customer, not bore them or scare them? And then the data, insights, and algorithms. Can you actually drive brand metrics and not just clicks in your campaign? I'm going to talk a little bit about the bottom one today. And of course, that's about harnessing or capturing the power of big data. So what we set out to do, we challenged targeting. We all know targeting is another, or a fancy word of stereotyping. We assume that, okay, this is my target group, and while that's all fine and dandy, within that target group, there's a major difference of what people like. So instead of just focusing on the targeting, saying, yes, in Sweden we do ice cream ads when it's above 18 degrees, and we do travel ads when it's below 18. Those type of typical targeting campaigns are great, but not everybody's interested in ice cream, and not everybody is interested in travel. So you got to find an additional way. And that's finding similarities. And if you do that, you can go beyond what humans can see. So what we did, we hired a lot of reindeer, or actually we hired a lot of data scientists to develop a framework so that we could automatically detect these things. And I'll show you an example. Here's a campaign we ran in the Swedish market, and it's an Echo shoe brand, you know, and Nike. They had set their targeting capabilities as they do for their target group, but we also found that people that like Nike, they were also very interested in fancy cars like Audi and Mercedes, whereas Echo was more the practical cars, like Nissan or Hyundai or Renault. We went on and see, okay, what about lifestyle? And some of these brands are Scandinavian, so you might not recognize them. But Echo wearers are more interested in budget travel, TV shows, and gaming, and Nike wearers are more into fitness and gambling. And if we take that off to food, beer, fast food, soft drinks, interesting for the Echo user, and fancy yogurts and health food for the Nike users. These are not targeting capabilities that you physically set because you would reduce a certain amount of people, but it's something that a machine learning network can work out and continuously drive. This led to us being able to triple the relevance to the ads that we delivered within those target groups. And that in turn led to 17 times higher purchase intent. So just by doing these things based on brand metrics, we could really show a significant uptick. Wanted to touch on clicks again. This was the biggest publishing group, or is the biggest publishing group in Scandinavia, Schibsted. They did a 2-year study with lots of different clients, all the way down to physical questionnaires where they actually, and focus groups. Turns out that the higher the click rate, the lower the brand effect or the measured campaign effect that they got. So next time you think about clicks as your way to reach brand effect, think about this slide. Another thing they did was they looked at, okay, if we look at awareness, video seemed to be better performing to drive awareness, whereas buying intention, video was not as good as still images. And then they had a few different things on rich media, fairly limited, but it's over a 2-year period on several different clients. So you do see some sort of effect. As soon as you start looking at these brand metrics rather than the click, you have different ways to do it. Some additional findings that they found was that longer running campaigns drive awareness, but length does not drive brand preference or purchase intent. Frequency drives awareness and purchase intent, but not brand preference. Lots of these different things you can start finding out once you start measuring them and start utilizing that data. And with that, I'd like to conclude that mobile is the new branding channel, whether you like it or not. Only 4% of people ever click. And clicks are not an indication of brand impact, sometimes even a negative one. And the industry needs to build data and algorithms to drive these things, to multiply the brand impact, not just the clicks. And of course, utilize algorithm in this data to multiply the effect of your campaign investments. And then again, get down and set goals based on brand metrics, matched by creatives and data to support those goals. Thank you.